not jump ahead. Dodgers trying to pad their lead. Manny Ramirez warming up, and folks ain't happy to see him. Boo!
Manny Ramirez.
Jonathan Sanchez tells Ramirez and his .310 batting average and 12 home runs, get back to the dugout. Bottom three, Eugenio Velez, foul ball to left. Now, Manny picks it up and throws it into the stands. You know, he's trying to keep the people in San Fran happy, but yay! Fans are like, he touched it. Ew, give it back. And then he's like, all right, man, y'all quit tripping. Top four after Sanchez walks Orlando Hudson to load the bases. Matt Kemp got medieval. Down the left field line, Ramirez scores. Blake scores. Hudson, ditto. Dodgers lead 3-1. Kemp, 72 RBI this year. Next batter, Mark Loretta. Rakin's son. Kemp scores. So, after scoring just 3 runs in their previous 29 innings, Dodgers get 4 in the 4th. They're up 4-1. Bottom 5, 1-on-1 out for Rich Aurelia. Grounds a short. Edgar Renteria out at second. Mark Loretta drops the ball in the throw to first, picks it up, and appears to step on first in time. Aurelia called out. Young brother didn't like it. Take another look. Very close call. So close that Bruce Bochy came out to talk and argue, said something he shouldn't have said, and got tossed. Bottom 9, 1-on-2 out. Tying run at the plate. Ryan Garco grounds it up the middle. Juan Castro stop, throw from his knees. Ball game. Dodgers beat the Giants 4-2.
Portion of the broadcast. Game 4 of a 4-game set. Troy Tulowitzki, .377 batting average over his last 15 games, and this pitch from Tom Gorzolani is hammered. 21st for Tulowitzki, and the Rockies lead 2-0, bottom 1. Bottom second, 4-0. Bases loaded for Tulowitzki. Don't sweat the technique. Hold on. If it's foul, it's a strike. And the boys in blue say it's a strike. Tulowitzki can't believe it. Jim Tracy comes out to plead the case. And the fellows would go back to review, but ultimately said foul ball. Actually, from a historical perspective, it actually played into Tulowitzki's hands, as you will see over the balance of this highlight. Because that is a single. 2 runners score, and Tulowitzki is halfway to the cycle. He's got the homer, he's got the single, so we need the middle portion. Double and triple, triple obviously being the hardest, although at Coors you never know. Plenty of space out there. Well, bottom 4, 7-0. Tulowitzki brings in Todd Helton, and he hustles and gets to second. Now just needs a triple for the cycle, but he's been close. 5 different times he was a triple away from the cycle. Never got the triple until the bottom of the 7th. 3-2 pitch down the line, and Alfonso Soriano, it can get adventurous with him, and when he bobbles, Tulowitzki does not hesitate. Throw coming to third to Jake Fox, and they've got him by a mile. Oh, the throw gets away. In Coors, it is ruled triple. No errors, triple. Tulowitzki 4 for 4. He's got the cycle, but he's not done. Comes up with the bases loaded again. And what else? Another knock for a 5 for 5 night, a career-high 7 RBIs. The Rockies win 11-5, so it's good for him personally. Better record, but they're in the wrong division because they play against the Angels a bunch. Gavin Floyd pitching very well, 6-1 his last 12 starts. Ken Griffey Jr. was a member of the Sox a year ago, here with a single that drives in 2 runs that puts the Mariners ahead 2-0. We move to the 6th inning. The White Sox down 3-2, but the bases are loaded, and Carlos Quentin, a dangerous stick to face, and a 3-1 pitch is a dangerous pitch to have to make. Double to left brings in 2 runs, and the White Sox go up 4-3. Bottom 6, same score, 2 outs for the Mariners, and Russell Branyan. What a find he has been. 0-2 pitch, and that would qualify as a mistake because Russell Branyan hits it to Mount Hood, his 27th of the season. 2 batters later, Tony Pena into pitch now, and it's a 2-run shot from Kenji Jojima. His 4th puts the Mariners up, and they go on to win by the same score of 6-4.
Happy birthday to you. Vlad's 7th Jack of the Year, 2-1 Rays. That kid would actually get some extra birthday gifts later on. Bottom 5 tied at 6. Kendry Morales. I ain't gonna say nothing, but that ain't right. His 2nd of the game, 25th of the year, 4th career multi-homer game. He's got them all this season. Angels up 7-6. Top 6, same score. Jason Bartlett triples off the right field wall. Greg Zahn scores. We are deadlocked at lucky number 7-7. Bottom 7, Vlad Guerrero. And the Lord said you got to rise up. Second home run of the game, 400 for his career, 45th guy in that 400 home run club. It's also his 37th career multi-homer game, 8-7 Angels. Top 8, Bartlett, a single away from a cycle. No Tampa Ray player has ever had a cycle, and here comes Bartlett. All he needs is a single, and instead he could have been arrested for larceny. Staring at a breaking ball, Rays still down 8-7. Top 9, same score, Ben Zobrist. Ben Zobrist can make all the folks at the Plaza and Harbor Island happy. They're the biggest Rays fans around. And instead he flies out to Juan Rivera. Ball game. Angels win it 8-7. Bottom 5, 2 outs, bases loaded. Kip Wells facing Colby Rasmus, and this one's easy. Wells walks Rasmus, 1 run, scores. Cards now lead 2-1, brings up Albert Pujols, and Pujols is hitting 800 with the bases loaded. That's tied for the 3rd highest in the last 35 years. He's 8 for 10, and he pops up to Johnny Gomes to end the inning. Okay, so now he's hitting 727 with the bases loaded, and his slugging percentage with the bases loaded, 2,182, which I think is, like, not even fair. Bottom 6, Matt Holliday, deep to center. Willie Tavares ran into the wall and did not catch the ball. Tavares, that hurt. Holliday ends up at 3rd with a triple. He would later score. Take another look at Tavares.
Ouch.
Yeah. He'd stay in the game. Cardinals are going to win it 4-1.
Off a sweep of the first place Phils, the Marlins home for the Astros. Brian Moeller and the Astros trying to avoid their 6th straight loss in Florida. Here's John Baker with the bases loaded. Not exactly Albert Pujols numbers, but nonetheless, that's a ground rule double. Nick Johnson and Jorge Cantu score 3-0 Marlins. To the 6th inning, Chris Sampson facing Chris Coghlan. Bases loaded. And Darryl Cousins says, whoa, 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 whoa. That's a balk. 5-2 Marlins lead. Sampson.
Did he sneeze?
He protests. Well, you'll take another look. And you, just that subtle little thing right there. Sampson called correctly by Darryl Cousins for a balk. Same at bat, Coghlan. His 8th straight multi-hit game brings in Cody Ross, but Ross glowed. Not swift enough. He's out by miles. 6-2 Marlins lead. Astros down 8-3. Michael Bourne facing Matt Lindstrom. Off Lindstrom, who kicks it and flips it underhand. Wow. Take another look. See Jorge Cantu snatch it with his bare hand. The Marlins win 8-6 straight, and you see the standings. They're 6.5 adrift of the Yankees. They scored 2 runs in their last 3 games. An 8th inning homer Sunday night from Victor Martinez. Here, Pedroia. A 2-run shot in the bottom of the first off Edwin Jackson, and it's 2-0. Bottom 5, it's 4-3. Jason Bay trying to follow Dustin's path over the wall. Is it going to stoink off the wall? No, it's a home run. And check out Bay. It's not exactly Carlton Fisk, but there's certainly some wishing and body English involved here. Oh, wait, I should run just in case. Take your time. His 22nd home run, it's 5-3 Red Sox. 5-4 now, 2 outs, runner on first. Marcus Thames. Has he given the Tigers a lead? No, that conks off the wall. Placido Polanco comes roaring around to score. All the way from first base. The throw cut off by Casey Kochman. We're knotted up at 5s, but not for long. Bottom 7, 1 out, runner on first. And it's Kochman. How this gets through about 3 different Tigers, I have no idea, but it does. And J.D. Drew on the hustle gets to 3rd. He'd scored a Nick Green sac fly. To the 8th inning, they bring in Jonathan Papelbon. He's only pitched 2 1/3 the last 9 days, so bring him in the 8th inning. Tigers had runners on 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out, but now with 2 away, Curtis Granderson pops it up, and Victor Martinez, does he have enough room? Yes, he does, and Papelbon and Boston maintain that 1-run lead. To the 9th, it's Papelbon, obviously still in, and Marcus Thames, 2-2 pitch, gas face given, 97 miles an hour on the black. Next batter's Miguel Cabrera, and he could certainly tie with 1 swing of the bat or fly out to end the game. Enough said. Papelbon's 28th save of the year. Red Sox win 6-5. We find Peter Gammons in the Chevy clubhouse, and Peter dialed into all things baseball, assessing the Red Sox playoff chances.
Sergio Mitre looking to continue the hot streak the Yankee starters have been on. August 7th, A.J. Burnett went almost 8 innings. No earned runs allowed, 6 Ks. On August 8th, C.C. Sabathia went almost 8 innings. Ditto. No earned runs allowed, 9 Ks. August 9th, Andy Pettitte, 7 innings. You get the picture. 4 Ks. Okay, first Yankee game, huh? Why don't you get a load of Mitre, schooling Marco Scutaro, Aaron Hill swinging, Vernon Wells. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. Mitre struck out the side in the first. Bottom one, Derek Jeter. Booyah! 13th home run of the year. It's a solo shot. He becomes the third Yankee to have 20 career leadoff homers, joining Ricky Henderson and Alfonso Soriano. Take another look. As Jeter goes yard, Phil Hughes said, I got it for you, DJ. Bottom four, nobody on. Yanks down 4-2. Peace. Robinson Cano, solo shot off of Mark Zepchinski, his 17th home run of the year. Yankees within a run, down 4-3. Next batter, Jerry Hairston. Hey, you know, Johnny Damon and Mark Teixeira have gone back-to-back 6 times this year. Robinson Cano and Jerry Hairston Jr. have gone back-to-back once. That's Hairston's first homer as a Yankee, 9th overall. Game tied at 4. Top 5, nobody on, still tied at 4. Lyle Overbay just absolutely on loads. That's redunk. A bomb off of Mitre. His 12th of the year. Mitre, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 Ks. Blue Jays take a 5-4 lead. Bottom 9. Last chance for the Bombers. Down 5-4. 2 out for Nick Swisher. I built the drama, and he didn't really do anything but strike out. Yankees winning streak ends at 7. Blue Jays win the game 5-4.
These are real. Montreal Masters top plays, number 10, Gael Monfils and Marat Safin. Safin will hang him up shortly. Says kind of lost his passion for playing. He's still got some shots up his sleeve. Safin, though, would lose in 3 sets to Monfils.
I'll take your Monfils and raise you a Shawumni. Robert Snodgrass centers. Enoch Shawumni redirects in for Leeds United in the first round of the English Carling Cup. Leeds United wins 1-0 over Darlington.
Speaking of carling, World Cocktail Competition. This is the 35th annual. It's in Germany. More than 800 competitors from 52 countries have gathered at a hotel in Berlin. My guess is these people are all very, very well served.
Where's Neil Everett when you need a bartender? Jack! Number 7, Blue Jays Yankees. Marco Scudero hits one between first and second. Robinson Cano tracks, spins, fires, bakes some cookies, does his tax return all in the same motion. Blue Jays win at 5-4.
As Smalin Karadot's bid for a base hit ends up in the glove of Clint Barmas. Barmas, terrific. Throws from his knees. More coming later from this game.
You ever heard of a guy named Silchenko?
No.
Artem Shilchenko in the Red Bull Cliff Diving Series, 26-meter drop to the sea. Shilchenko won with a score of 354 points, but again, like about the whole thing in the kiddie pool, you don't see a whole lot of brothers. So, no, just saying.
A's Orioles. Ryan Sweeney on the Ty Wigginton foul ball. A's, powered by Mark Ellis's 5 hits, go on to win 9-1, and that nice Sweeney grab.
Mets Diamondbacks, Fernando Tatis out to center. Gerardo Parra comes in and makes a diving catch. Personally, I think Sochenko with the 26-meter drop off the cliffs was a better diving thing, but that's just me.
The Rockies. Giovanni Soto deep to center. Dexter Fowler. This looks like it's headed to the land of the lost. Fowler looks like he's in trouble. Unlike poor Willie Taveras of Cincinnati, who ran into the wall in St. Louis, this ends up better all the way around. Fowler makes the catch and is basically all right. Rockies win.
You've heard of the Bourne supremacy and the Bourne ultimatum? This is the Bourne denial. Michael Bourne off the leg of pitcher Matt Lindstrom. Lindstrom stays with it, flips it straight from his glove to first. Jorge Cantu barehanded catch at first.
Give me that.
Marlins win the game, 8-6.
Going to start on Wednesday night here on ESPN for Philadelphia. Tuesday night, Phil's open up a series on the north side of Chicago, and Rich Harden was on his game. Had a perfect game in the 5th. Got Ryan Howard, Raul Ibanez. Where's Ben Francisco right about now? Francisco would have a better at bat later in the game. Harden struck out the side in the 5th. Top of the 6th, after walking Carlos Ruiz to break up the perfecto. Jimmy Rollins, since his 0 for 28 funk, Rollins has been big, goes big fly there, breaks up the no-hitter, the shutout, etc., ties the game at 2. Carlos Marmol, some control issues in the 8th, hits Victorino, 1st and 2nd. Next batter, Chase Utley. Marmol walks him, loads him up. 2 out for Ryan Howard. Marmol walks him, brings in a run. So Marmol's yanked now. The Phillies have a 3-2 lead. John Grabo comes in to pitch. Now the bottom of the 9th comes down 3-2. Brad Lidge to Milton Bradley, and Bradley, the shot, that's going to score the game. That's John Cusack, one of my favorite all-time actors. Lidge blows his 7th save of the season. Most of the bigs didn't blow a single save all last season. Top of the 12th, Ben Francisco. Much more than a throw-in the Cliff Lee deal off of closer Kevin Gregg. Not a blown save for Greg, but it is a blown opportunity. The Phils get back on the winning track. The Cubs are struggling.
Marlins looking to keep pace with those Phillies, taking on Roy Oswalt and the Astros. Hanley Ramirez has a career batting average of .423 against the Astros. That's the highest all time. Ramirez proves me right down the line. Off of Oswalt, Chris Coghlan and Nick Johnson score. Ramirez gets caught in the rundown, but he'd finish this game going 3 for 6 with 2 RBI in the game. As for Oswalt, 6 earned runs in 5 innings of work. John Baker with the Marlins now down 7-6 in the bottom of the 7th. The double. Nick Johnson, Jorge Cantu would score. Marlins go up 8-7 on that Baker double. Let's go to the 9th. Leo Nunez in to close things out for Florida. 2 on, 1 out. Astros down 8-7. Jeff Blum. The single. Miguel Tejada, who was 3 for 5 with 3 RBI scores to tie up the game at 8. To the 10th. 1 on, 2 out. Emilio Bonifacio with a single off of Jose Valverde. Now Jeremy Hermida trying to score from second. Why does third base coach Bo Porter wave him in? Who the heck knows? He was out by a mile. But check this out. This play was a lot closer than it looked. Hermida's foot seemed to touch home before Pudge tagged him. And Rodriguez was shaken up on the play. Had to get his leg checked in the dugout. But why send the guy? To the 11th, still tied. 2 out, bags full. Could it be Dan Uggla's time again? You better believe it. Chris Coghlan would score. For Uggla, his 5th career walk-off hit, and the Marlins win in walk-off fashion, taking their 5th straight game. And
A little bit of everything in it. Junichi Tozawa, his first big league start. In his first big league appearance, he was met by A-Rod in the 15th inning. Here, runs one up and hits Miguel Cabrera on the hands in the 1st inning. Cabrera would leave the game, left-hand contusion, x-rays negative. He's listed as day-to-day, but, you know, he's Detroit's best player, and you have to figure a little retaliation or revenge. Bottom of the 1st, Victor Martinez, and Rick Porcello comes in high and tight. Doesn't hit him, but you can see Martinez is all ticked off about it. Now, there is some history. Got to go all the way back to Monday night. Brad Penny hits Cabrera. Then Edwin Jackson, the retaliation on Kevin Youkilis, right? You got that to Tuesday night. Here's the first pitch of the at-bat to Kevin Youkilis. By hits Youkilis right between the numbers. Uke comes flying out, throws the helmet, then Porcello actually hit Youkilis down. So the benches, the dugouts, the bullpens, they all clear out. People milling about it. I don't believe a single punch was thrown. Here it is again. Again, you have to figure Detroit's trying to protect their sluggers. They hit one of Boston's best hitters. But Porcello and the Tigers, they're trying to hang on to first place, had a 3-0 lead in Boston. This would turn the game around in favor of the Red Sox. So that's former Rays pitcher Edwin Jackson, who was involved on Monday night, trying to be involved on Tuesday night. And an interesting animated conversation between the 2 managers, Jim Leland and Terry Francona. They try to figure out. Porcello, by the way, hit 1 batter all season coming to this one, so his control normally pretty good. Chris Lambert comes in to replace Porcello, and again, the ejection of Porcello really turns the game around. Jason Bay, his 23rd homer this season. Jason Varitek at the plate. J.D. Drew thrown out at second trying to steal. Terry Francona again out to argue this. Now, from my angle right here, Linda, very tough to tell, safe or out.
agreed.
Francona doesn't care. He's heated. He's going to give it to Scott Barry. But as Francona turns to walk away, that's when Barry, the young umpire, throws him out of the game. And then Francona throws something, and about as heated and animated as Tito gets. Now, Mike Lowell, he replaced Kevin Youkilis in the lineup because Youkilis was ejected from the game. And in the bottom of the 3rd, Youkilis ace. With Youkilis out, Lowell, the solo shot, hit 2 homers in the game. So the ejections, not exactly the worst thing for Lowell and the Sox. They win.
Back in Toronto. Java Chamberlain on the mound. Bases loaded for the Jays. 2 out. Lyle Overbay. Off of Java, that clears the bases. A 3-run double for Overbay. Game tied. Chamberlain allowed 4 runs, 5 hits in 6 innings, but no worries. Now with this Yankee lineup, as the Yanks bailed him out, bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Jays. Hideki Matsui ties up the game with 1 swing. Number 17 for Matsui. It's a 4-4 game. Next batter, Georgie's up. Jorge Posada with a big fly, and they are playing at the new Yankee Stadium, so you know that is just over the wall. Joe Inglet going back, the leap, bounces off the top of the wall and over for a homer, number 15 for Posada, but Cito Gaston wants to argue. Why? Well, check out the fan. Came close to interfering with it, but it looks as if the ball was already over the wall. See? No interference. Good call after the review by umpire Joe West, and the Yankees win. First time since '83, the Yanks have gone back-to-back in 3.
Hill is hanging out. Makes Pujols look rather short. Now Shaq's going to throw the first pitch, so he's warming up with his catcher, his personal catcher, Pujols. And Shaq was throwing okay, not catching all that well. And the ceremonial first pitch, Pujols calls it a strike. I thought it was a little inside. Shaq watching the game, sitting with Albert's wife. So the Cards down 4-0, base loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Ryan Ludwig the single, and Pujols, he's flying. Showing off the wheel, showing off for Shaq. The Cards were down 4-1. Cards down 5-1. Here's Pujols. If it's fair, it's gone, and there's no foul pole in sight. His 37th home run of the season. That already ties his total from last season, and this season still has plenty of baseball left. Bottom 9, 5-3, 1 out, 1 on. Colby Rasmus, the ground ball. Brandon Phillips throws the first, but no one's covering the bag. The ball hits Rasmus. Brendan Ryan scores, and it's a 5-4 game. Next batter, Pujols, chance to be a hero. Instead, he just meekly grounds back to Cordero, and they get the lead runner there at second base. Matt Holliday with a tying run at second. Holliday, he's just looking. The Reds win despite 15 hits by the Cardinals. Rockies entertaining the Pirates. That's Yolis Chacin, his first career start. And Chacin gets Delwyn Young to swing at a pitch, and the pitch hit him in the leg. The ball got away from Chris Iannetta, and so Ryan Doumit scores. And the Pirates had a 1-0 lead. You don't see that every day.
No.
Don't see a cycle every day. Troy Tulowitzki, it was cycle on Monday, and goes deep in the bottom of the second. Now all he needs is a single, double, and a triple. Game tied at 1. Andrew McCutchen's going to steal third. Garrett Jones stealing second. Iannetta's throw is wide of Tulowitzki. McCutchen scores. Jones the third on the Iannetta error. By the way, McCutchen, the first player since Carlos Beltran 5 years ago. 3 walks, 3 runs, 3 stolen bases in the same game. Want to see some defense?
I do.
That's Lasting's Millage. Did he play for the Mets?
Yes.
Carlos Gonzalez robbed by Millage. The good defense there for the Buccos. That helps the Pirates snap their 8-game.
It's that time. It's the time for SportsCenter's top plays, and let's begin with number 10. Reds, Cardinals, Shaquille O'Neal. He is a PR machine. This is all about, I think, his reality show coming out on ABC. Every week he's got a new thing. He challenges great athletes, and there's him.
All right, at number 9, speaking of great athletes, this is the Madden NFL 2010 Pigskin Pro-Am. The Gamers versus Famers, Joe Montana to Jerry Rice.
That works.
But unfortunately, Montana's Gamers lost.
Ooh, number 8, Tigers, Red Sox, Carlos Guillen. It's deep. How deep? Jacoby Ellsbury. Oh, for the love of a good stretch. And the Red Sox won the game, 7-5.
At number 7, the Rangers and the Indians. We got 2 plays here for you.
Good.
Jared Saltalamacchia chopping up the middle. Asdrubal Cabrera fields and fires. Now the very next batter is Elvis Andrus. Grounds up the middle. Cabrera, nearly the identical play. Here's some advice.
Yeah.
Don't hit it to shortstop. The guy Cabrera could play.
Number 6, Adrian Gonzalez. Well, he was on fire. All he did was go 6 for 6. The third player this season to go 6 for 6, joining Ian Kinsler of the Rangers and Freddie Sanchez, who was with the Pirates at the time. Padres won the game 13-6.
At number 5, up in Canada, in Montreal, Roger Federer and Frederick Niemeyer. Federer reaches down for the nice return. Niemeyer right into the net. Federer will go on to win 7-6, 6-4.
Number 4, Texas Rangers, Cleveland Indians, Hank Blaylock. Hammer and Hank, just a one-hopper. Asdrubal Cabrera. Boy, Yoga really can't offer
What I tell
Asdrubal.
you, don't hit it to the guy.
He's amazing.
Guy's a machine.
You called it.
He's a vacuum.
The machine is cool,
All right.
though, right?
Right,
Come on, you told us.
At number 3, the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Johnny Damon to deep right. And normally, everything to deep right is a home run at Yankee
Correct.
Stadium. Joe England, how about the leaping grab at the track? Comes in a Blue Jays loss, 7-5 Yankees win.
Number 2, Pirates Rockies, Carlos Gonzalez gets under this one. This is deep. But how about Lasting's Millage? Former Met, now good. Makes it a great catch. Take another look. And the Pirates stunned Colorado 7-3.
And coming in at number 1 from the Rays and Angels, Jason Bartlett, the liner, Eric Ibar.
Oh.
Nice grab, worth a second look. Full extension from the infield dirt to the outfield grass. Even better, comes in an Angels 6-zip whitewash.